So this just happened today. In what is definitely not extremely unexpected news, the Frederick Keys are once again, rightfully, the High A affiliate for the Baltimore Orioles.
There it is!
What does that mean? So to understand what it means, you have to understand what happened back in 2020. Back in December of 2020, it was announced that Major League Baseball was restructuring their farm system, their affiliate system. Definitely in a cost-cutting move. I mean, I don't know enough about the situation to explain how, but it's not because they were trying to invest more money into the farm system. A lot of teams got dissolved. A lot of teams lost complete affiliation. Again, I don't have any numbers. I'm not that involved in minor league baseball. Clark, Hack, feel free to chime in. But I do remember being told that we were very lucky that the Keys remained a team at all. As sort of a consolation prize or a congratulations you're not dead prize, the Keys were made part of the MLB Draft League. The MLB Draft League is definitely an important thing to have. Again, as I best understand it, that's where players who are either pre-draft eligible or were undrafted, that's where they go to try and further develop their skills or be further evaluated to see if they do have the potential to play Major League Baseball. Again, it's an important system, but when you have recent memory of watching Manny Machado play for the Frederick Keys as an adult, this isn't like 30 years ago, you know, the draft league is pretty underwhelming. And that's not to take anything away from the people who work for the Keys or the players in the draft league. They're doing their thing. It's not their fault that we used to have Machado out there. For the last 2 seasons, we've had 2 nights a week where if there's a home game, we cater for both teams and the umpires and I think the coaching staffs. It's been a great deal that we have with the Keys. It's lucrative, it includes ad credit, and it helps get us involved in local professional sports, very similarly to how we have been with the Frederick Flying Cows basketball team. Shout out you guys. And despite the difficult position that the Keys have been in over the last 5 years, kind of just this floating training camp that they're trying to sell tickets to, they've done a really good job. They're hosting, they probably can't call it Star Wars night, but things that seem like Star Wars night. They've done the Office night a few times. I think some Office cast members have been there. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like I remember that. And it seems like every time I go out there, despite the reality of this not being Major League Baseball anymore technically, they're still getting pretty good turnout, which has to be one of the reasons they got reaffiliated. They stripped Frederick of one of the coolest aspects of this town, gave them a little bit of life support, said, let's see what you can do with it, and they did it. Great job to every member of the Keys organization over the last 5 years, whether you're still there or not, or if you're brand new, whatever. As a member of the Frederick community who loves local sports, thank you so much for not giving up on this organization. Thank you. I'm not going to speculate what this means for our direct relationship with the Keys moving forward. I know that we absolutely will still have some kind of presence within the Keys ecosystem, hopefully directly at the stadium still, but I'm not sure where that goalpost is going to get backed up to in terms of the barrier to entry of being a part of that. I do know that last year after the season, we had meetings with them. We were looking into having an old line booth at the Keys games to sell our food at every game. They were super welcoming to have us, but the cost of getting in there was just not something that we had on the table yet. We are a different organization now than we were a year ago, but so are they. So I cannot imagine it's going to get any less expensive to become an affiliate like that, but we'll see. There's other creative ways of doing things, and we're very excited to continue our partnership with the Keys in whatever capacity makes sense for both of us, but we are very excited to be along for the ride. Anyway, right now, I still have to go to the Keys to get a catering box that I left there on Wednesday when we delivered their team meals. I was already scheduled to come pick it up anyway, and they just happened to make this announcement a couple hours before I went out there. So we're going to go out to the Keys Stadium right now, Harry Grove Stadium, Nimio Field at Harry Grove Stadium, to grab my catering box and have a look around. I don't think there's a game tonight. We'll find out when we get there. Woo! All right, we're here at Harry Grove. I'm in the parking lot, the front parking lot. I didn't anticipate this many people being here. There's definitely not a game on, but I don't know if this is just left over from the press conference or if this is some kind of like internal party, which would make total sense if like there's MLB brass down here and Orioles people, that they would have some kind of hospitality thing internally afterwards. Frankly, I'm offended I wasn't invited to whatever this gala is. It looks very fancy. There's people milling about. Again, they might just be tearing down the press conference, but I'm gonna assume that it's a very very exclusive and fancy dinner that I was not invited to. And as the person who delivers the food that other people cook from the kitchen that I partially own on Wednesdays and Sundays, if there is a home game, I feel like I am entitled to whatever trappings and pomp and circumstance should come with that, and I'm offended. Either way, I am going to be a little bit more nervous snooping around trying to get footage of the renovations over the construction fences because they know me. If they didn't know me, I'd feel super comfortable just like walking up and sticking my camera above the fence, because then someone would just be like, hey, there's somebody down there, let's show them off. But with me, it'd be like, hey, why is Pat down there? I told him I'd give him a tour next week, which they have. I'm just impatient. I also really wanted to get a video up this week and I couldn't think of anything. It's been a really slow week. We've been doing really good with the algorithm on YouTube recently relative to the size of our channel, which is pretty small, but we've been doing really well. But nothing's happened since 4th of July, and when the Keys announced this thing, I'm like, that's a great thing to make a video on. So I really want to go snooping. I think if I'm going to actually upload this video, I'm going to have to do a little bit of snooping to make it interesting. All right, this is going to be good stuff. We're snooping. I'll park my truck over there. It's falling my head. Park my truck over there. So it's farther away from the stadium than it was before, but it's still snooping. When they first announced the renovations, it seemed very, at least the way I interpreted it, like kind of ho-hum, and we're gonna make the stadium better in hopes that we can make something happen since we lost the Orioles. But then they started breaking ground, and we'll get a better view hopefully sooner than later. But the whole project seems a lot bigger than it sounded when they first announced it. I'm sorry, I think I'm really bad at snooping, and there's somebody over there looking at me now. This is a really bad idea. I apologize, Keys. Just trying to make a video. I'm a big fan of your baseball team and your mascot, the Coyote. I got my picture taken with them once when I was a Cub Scout. And again, like last summer, I like that song, Shake Your Keys. Everybody shake your keys. Now there's more people around me and I'm self-conscious. We'll see. All right, well, that didn't work. I drove around a little bit trying to get a spot where I could park around the backside of the stadium because you can kind of see the construction better from there, but it wasn't going to happen without having to walk like a quarter of a mile, and I've got to get into Dragon for Friday Night Trivia anyway, so we're just going to wait until we make this video with the Keys on their renovation and 2026 plans. But yeah, that's all I got. Me and Ange are going to Ocean City for White Marlin Week in 2 days, the same week we went last year for Rich's 40th birthday. Rich may or may not be making an appearance. We'll see. Lordy, Rich is 41. But yeah, expect some cool videos coming out of that trip soon. And yeah, that's it. That's going to do it for this one. As usual, we do not beg for subscribers, so hang out or don't. But we would love to see you again in the future for more tailgating adventures. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on highway living, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.